Speaking Truth, Las Siete Profecías. Using the year 2012 and the word Maya in the same sentence produces a stereotypical and negative connotation that stirs within many individuals. A quick Google search with the keywords Maya 2012 generates over 272 million results, all varying from the Hollywood blockbusters depicting cataclysmic events of the earth coming to its apocalyptic end, to the outrageous survival guides on how to survive the December 21st, 2012 doomsday event. Despite the vast array of misinformation, there is a growing community of anthropologists, professors, social and behavioral scientists who are correcting and re-educating thousands concerning this topic through elder epistemology and calendar evidence. Paulino Ruchulin and Maria Castillo Chi, maestros from Chiapas, lectured on Las Siete Profecías. The first prophecy ends all hate and material within the world, brings understanding, and takes awareness. This is followed by changes in human behavior from the solar eclipse, resulting in psychological changes in man. The maestros believe that this has been occurring since 1999. The third prophecy recalls a heat wave that induces an increase in the temperature of the planet, causing climatic, geological, and social changes. A few modern environmental examples include pollution, deforestation, hurricanes, pest, and disease. The fourth reckoning brings upon an increase of temperature, production of solar wind, volcanic eruptions, and unusual sudden fluctuations of the sun's level of activity, which ultimately causes melting at the polar caps. The fifth prophecy includes all the fear-based systems in which our civilization is cultured on. These systems transport simultaneously with the planet and man to give way to a reality of harmony. The final prophecy claims a comet will appear in the upcoming years whose trajectory will endanger the existence of man. This comet will be very similar to the devastating and organismal life-altering comet that hit the Yucatan Peninsula 65 million years ago. The 13th Baktun began on August 11th, 114 years before Christ, therefore ending its cycle on the long count on December 21st, 2012. Unlike former misleading speculations regarding the extinction of humanity, the count will return to zero and will begin a new cycle for humanity to prosper. However, Chulin's concern above all else is how we as United Peoples and Nations unify efforts to reorient our behavior against nature, global warming, and neoliberal policies which only extract oil, minerals, and install large factories. These outcomes leave humanity in grave danger, leading to its destruction and demise. Cyclical and coinciding relationships with nature are the most imperative relations between man, earth, and the cosmos. Maria ardently and passionately expressed that there is only one way to be at equilibrium. She affirmed, "It is having an approach to conclude in any area of unification through solidarity, by returning to rescue those valuable ancient and indigenous knowledge that existed about the nature and Mother Earth."
A brief overview of Mayan time. Time in the Mayan world. I feel confident that there was no such thing as an initial point of departure for the Maya calendar, but rather time was conceived of as without beginning or end, and therefore one could project one's calculations farther and farther into the past without ever reaching a starting point. J. Eric S. Thompson, Maya Hieroglyphic Writing, page 149. In May 2012, Time magazine reported that the oldest Maya calendar to date was discovered in a remote region of Guatemala. This calendar dates to the late 9th century AD. There is ample evidence in the tomb to show this calendar was being used to predict cosmological events, specifically the position of Venus. The Mayan long count. The Maya used the long count calendar as a means of keeping track of historical dates. It could be used to track time hundreds or possibly thousands of years in the past or the future. Units of the long count, approximated with Julian calendar length, include the kin, which is equivalent to 1 day, the uno, which is 20 days or 1 month, the tun, which is 18 unos or 1 year, the katun, which is 20 tun or 20 years, and the baktun, which is 20 katun or 394 years. The Hob calendar. The Hob was used as both a civil calendar and an agricultural calendar. It consisted of 360 days, broken down into 18 periods of 20 days each, with an additional 5 days added at the end to coincide with the solar year. The Solking calendar. The Solking was used as a ceremonial calendar. It consisted of 20 periods of 13 days each. Like the Hob calendar, each day is represented by both a number and a specific day name.
Diagnostic tools and methodologies, traditional Maya healing techniques. As the cause of disease was attributed to divinity, the functions of the priests and healers were combined. Wind in the Blood by Hernán Garcia and others. According to Karen Bessie Sweet, during La Tercera Mesa Redonda de Palenque in 1999, post-classic sources indicate that virtually all events require a divination forecast. It was by using divinatory techniques and tools that Maya healers diagnosed and healed illnesses. The first of these tools was using the calendar and time. According to Katzy Cook in the book Red Medicine, time itself is a medicine. By using the medicine of time retrospectively, one can go back in time to the moment when the accident occurred to soften the moment of injury. Lastly, in regards to time, Maestras María Elena Vázquez No and Paulina Beatriz Gongoria Espejo mention how the He-Men, or Maya healers, use time to determine the best times to heal. En la península de Yucatán, solo trabajan los martes y los viernes, desde la madrugada hasta el mediodía. They only work Tuesdays and Fridays from dawn until noon. This is because they believe that starting at 12 p.m., the vientos malos, or the bad winds, are really strong and may prevent a He-Man from healing a patient. Another item used in diagnosis is called the sastun. There are a few different definitions for the sastun, but all of them end up being the same thing. According to Rosita Arbigo, author of Sastun, My Apprenticeship with a Maya Healer, the translation of a sastun is the light of the ages, stone of the ages, and stone of light. According to Mariana Apel Cuno in Maya Medicine, a sastun is a divination stone or crystal. Likewise, in Wind in the Blood by Hernán Garcia and others, a sastun is a little glass ball used for divination. A He-Man comes into possession of a sastun either when his teacher, or a Balam, or a supernatural being, gives him the stone, and it signifies that the owner has been approved or selected. Kuno mentions that the sastuns are gifts from the Balam to the He-Man, providing the means of communication with them and tapping into their powers. And by peering into the sastun, a Maya He-Man could determine the source of illness or divine answers to questions. In Wind in the Blood, the sastun is put in a cup with 3 fingers of rum. Afterwards, it is held before the flame of a candle, which projects a shadow onto the clarity of the flame. Then, the He-Man makes an oration, and by observing the shadows, he determines what illness or condition the patient is suffering from. Finally, Maestra María Elena and Maestra Paulina Beatriz give a personal account of what they have heard back in their town in the Yucatan Peninsula. They confirm what the others say about the sastun. It is a tool used for diagnosing. What the He-Men see when they look into the sastun is la visión de cómo empezó la persona, dónde y cuándo empezó el mal, a vision of how and where the person started feeling ill. She says the following: the sastun is kept in a clear glass of water, full about halfway. This glass is covered by a black cloth and tied. A book is then placed on top of the glass. When they are going to use the sastun in healing, they put their left hand on the glass, make the sign of the cross, and pray. During the ceremony, the He-Man takes out the sastun, kisses it, and looks into it. As soon as he looks into it, He puts it right back in the glass and covers it the way it was before. Lastly, she also mentions that the sastun are only used by men. A third method of diagnosing, also mentioned by Maestras Maria Elena and Paulina Beatriz, is that of scrying in the fire. This technique, which was not found in any of the academic sources, is almost the same as the sastun, but it is only practiced by women. Furthermore, Maestras Maria Elena and Paulina also mentioned that there is a third kind of healer who works with the vientos or the winds. Like the he-men who work with sastuns and the women who diagnose with fire, these healers who work with the winds are able to diagnose, but unfortunately they are not able to do any type of healing except to offer prayers to the winds. The last method that will be discussed is dreaming. This diagnostic tool is quite well known in many ancient and aboriginal indigenous civilizations as a diagnostic tool used in medicine and healing. In red medicine, according to contemporary painted books compiled by various associations of Maya doctors in Chiapas, they depict the Yilol, or healer, dreaming as part of the duality of existence. Dreams speak from the blood. Listening to what our blood has to say through the interpretation of dreams is great for listening to the subconscious messages that our mind and body have for us. And while their contents may be influenced by certain events in our lives, our dreams transgress efforts to dominate and impose values and can express what our subconscious is thinking and not just what our conscious mind is experiencing. This being the case, if our dreams speak from our blood, then understanding our dreams means understanding our bodies and listening to our subconscious mind